Hello everybody, my name is Alan from Sauber-Lab, and today, this video, we're gonna talk a little bit more about RAIDZ. In the previous videos, I always say that you need to do RAIDZ, but I never explain why it's so important to do it, and what's the difference between RAID 1, 2, 3, 5, and continue on. Also, in this video, we're gonna explain a little bit more about the TrueNAS RAID, that it's RAIDZ1, Z2. After this video, you can understand a little bit more about the difference of RAID and make the best decision for you. So, if you like this idea and want to learn a little bit more about it, we're gonna show in this video, but first of all, don't forget to leave a like, consider subscribe for the channel if you're not subscribed, and let's understand a little bit more about it. As I told in this video, we're gonna focus for different types of RAID and which one is better for you. So if you guys come here on my screen, we're gonna focus in RAID between 0, 1, 5, 6 and 10. And also we're gonna talk a little bit more about the Z1 and Z2 that is only dedicated for ZFS, that's more common found on the TrueNAS. Don't worry, it's a little bit confused, but we're gonna try to make it as simple as possible. So first of all, we try to understand what means RAID. RAID is redundant array of independent disk. The main goal for it is or get redundancy, or get performance, or add capacity. Any of those options can be found in different RAIDs. Some of those will be more focused for speeds, some of those will be more focused for redundancy, and all of those is focused for capacity. So basically we wanted to have more than one hard drive and they will work as only one single hard drive. Depending what kind of RAID that you decide to use, they will give more space or less space, more redundancy, less redundancy, and more performance or less performance. So let's try to understand our first RAID. The first RAID will be RAID 0, that is called strip. This RAID 0 is more focused for performance because they will split all the data across, will increase the speeds for read and write. They will be really fast, but what I say, zero redundancy. You don't have any redundancy at all, and if any of those hard drive failure, you're gonna lose all of your data. So basically the data will split A1, A2, A3, A4, and if this hard drive stop to work, bye-bye data, you're not gonna recover it. This is the problem, you're gonna have really fast system, but not safe at all. This will be only good if you need to use speed instead of safety, and that's if you don't have important data but you want to access really fast, then it's the best option that you can have. But let's say that you want to just create any redundancy, then the next type of RAID will be a little bit different. This one it's called mirror. That main focus for this is for saved. Basically they will copy the data between the two hard drives, what will slow down the writing speeds because they will copy twice the same information, and that's this read will not make so much difference, but the write will be compromised. This is really critical when it's the data, it's really important. So in this way you have a high safety system, and this is more key. Also, you're only gonna have 50% of your capacity. So if you have a critical data, or you are using cache read and write, or using something that if you lose one hard drive, you still be able to get all this data in the other hard drive, what it's quite interesting, so you have time to do it. Of course, if the both hard drive fail at the same time, you don't have anything to do, but if only one fail, we still have your data save and you can copy over and you can protect it if you need. The next option that we have, it's the classic and the one that I like more, will be RAID 5. That it's kind of a strip and parity, and that's how they will work. First thing, you need to have at least 3 hard drives. Less than 3 hard drives, you're not gonna work, and you can have more and more, but remember, you can only lose one hard drive. Doesn't matter what's the size of your array, you can only lose one hard drive in this way. So how it's work, they will have A1, A2, and I have a parity. The same thing for B will have a parity, for C a parity, and for D a parity. It means that if one hard drive fail, you will still be able to recover data because they will have parities that they will calculate. The good thing that they will create a good balance between speeds, safety and capacity. Basically, in other terms, you still have those two hard drives, and that's only one that will be a parity. So in the case that you have 3 times 8, instead of you have 12 terabytes, you're gonna have 8 terabytes, and those 8 will be usable space with the parity for the last one, let's say. The only problem for this, if this hard drive stops to work and you need to replace it, the rebuild time will be really long. You're gonna take a long time to rebuild this array. So in this case, will be a good mix of performance and redundancy, create a middle speed, but with 1 hard drive of lost, and this reason that I like to use it up to 6 hard drives. More than it, I will think for the second option. The second option that we're gonna say it's the RAID 6. So RAID 6 will be really similar for RAID 5, but the main difference that you have a double parity. So in this case, you need to have at least 4 hard drives, less than it will not work, and that they will allow you to lose at least 2 hard drives. You take longer to write because they will create twice parity, so they will write A1, A2, and that they will calculate parity P, and that create parity Q, and that's the same thing for B, the same thing for C, the same thing. So in this case, if 1 hard drive fail, you still have your data. If 2 hard drive fail, you still have your data, and here will be everything. Doesn't matter which ones that fail, you still be able to recover your data, but they will need to calculate twice the parity calculation, and to rebuild this RAID will take really long time, longer than RAID 5, because he needs to recalculate everything to let you to access the data. This is really important when your data it's really important and you need to make sure that everything is safe. Or if you have a big array that you don't want to lose your data because have, let's say, 15 hard drives, and if 2 of those fail, you still have those 13. Remember, in this case, if you have 4 hard drives of 4 terabytes, instead of you have 16 if you go for RAID 0, or have 12 if you go to RAID 5, in this case you're only gonna have those 2 usable space, what will give only 8 terabytes of data. And the next one will be RAID 10. Basically, RAID 10 it's a mix between RAID 1 and RAID 0. So they will create a mirror and a strip. What means? They will create 2 hard drives and will create a mirror. Then they will create more 2 hard drives and will create a mirror, and that they will create a strip. In this case, you need to have at least 4 hard drives, and all those information need to be paired. You need to have one mirror, and if you wanted to have more, you need to have 6 at least, not 5, because they will create another mirror and that will create a strip. The good thing that you have a high performance and a high redundancy. This is good because they will create a high speed and high protection. But remember, only case that can work if it's 1 hard drive for each array or each mirror fail. In the case that fail 2 in the same mirror, they will lose all your data because they will simulate that have one hard drive here, and that a strip between the self and divide information. So remember, to work only can fail 1 hard drive for each mirror. Now the next option will be more for the ZFS. What I told, it's more common found in the TrueNAS, but have other systems that do work with ZFS. So it's really similar for RAID 5. In other terms, Z1 will be exactly the same as RAID 5, and Z2 will be exactly the same as RAID 6. What RAID 5 will allow the 1 hard drive, Z1 will allow the 1 hard drive to get lost. The same thing for Z2, 2 hard drives. The good thing for this, because ZFS will make this checksum, and that they will check if the information is valid, is not corrupt, everything's work well, and your data will be more secure. The only problem for it is that they use lots of RAM memory. As I told in the previous video, you need to have at least 8 gigabytes, and if you have more and more information, you're gonna need to have more and more RAM memory. Based on other terms, they will work basically this way. If you have a RAID Z1, you're gonna have 1 hard drive for parity. If you have RAID Z2, 2, Z3, 3, and continue on. Of course, you're gonna need to have minimum 3, 4, 5 hard drives to make it work. Otherwise, they will not work the way that you expect. In simple terms, I put this table. So if I go to RAID 0, you need to have 2 hard drives. RAID 1, 2, RAID 5, 3, and that all the rest, apart from Z1, need to have at least 4 hard drives. In this case, RAID 0 is the one that is less safe because if any hard drive lost, you're going to lose all your data. In the case of RAID 1, RAID 5, and RAIDZ1, you can have one hard drive spare or one hard drive that can fail and your data is still safe. All the rest with 2, but remember, RAID 10, if 2 hard drives for the same pair fail, it's going to not make any difference. For usable space, if you go to RAID 0, you have 100% of your space. RAID 1, you only have 50%. And that's all the rest, RAID 5, RAID 6, Z1, Z2, you're gonna have the number of a drive minus 1 for parity or 2 for parity in the case of RAID 6. The fastest speeds will be RAID 0, that will create a strip and divide between the hard drives, so they will have a speed for the same hard drives, so they will give the speed for both hard drives work in parallel. If you go to RAID 5 or Z1, you're gonna have a good performance, not as good as RAID 0, but you still have a really good performance compared for the others. If you go to RAID 1, RAID 6 or Z2, your performance will drop more because they will create more parity, they will create more information, they will copy more often all this information. And relationship of safety, all those is safe, some of those a little bit more than others, apart for RAID 0 that, as I told, you cannot lose any hard drive because then all your data is lost. So in this way we arrive at the end of the video. I hope that was interesting this video, and with this information you can use to decide which of those RAID options will be the best for you and what you're looking. In my case, normally I use the RAID 5 because it's a balance and you're gonna have a good performance, and at the same time you have one hard drive to lose, up to 6 hard drives, 6 to 8 hard drives, depending how critical is my data and how often I create my backups. So if you guys like this video, don't forget to leave your like, consider subscribe for the channel if you're not subscribed, and see you next time. Bye.